Hi, Davis. Hi, Alexandra. And hi to whoever else may be watching. I put together this video audit. I believe that it will add more context to some of the things that I will go over. It gives me an opportunity to add more context in addition to sending you the reports and Excel files from the email. Now, I have reviewed Remy's SEO visibility, some of the things that you're doing with content, some of the things that you're doing with your on-page and technical SEO, and also some of the things you're doing with link building. And these are the three elements that if we execute and knock these out effectively, that we're going to see success with your campaign. And pretty much these will work in order. So on-page and technical SEO, that's always my first priority because we can build great content. We can acquire backlinks from very powerful websites that are relevant and have high authority. But if you don't have your on-page and technical SEO in order, then it's almost like building a mansion in a pit of quicksand. You have to have that foundation. And that foundation for a website is on-page and technical SEO. Moving on from that, we're going to cover content. And I'll go into each of these a bit more later in the video, but content is a really big piece of an effective SEO strategy. You might read quite a few things about different technical details with SEO, but really it boils down to creating good content and then building backlinks to that content. And so I'm going to go into more detail about content and some recommendations for content. And then finally, link building. And link building, if we do the content piece right, we put together great content and it's very informative, very appealing to your target audience, then link building takes care of itself. It's just a matter of connecting influential bloggers and other influencers within the relevant niches and industries, connecting them to your content so that they share it. And so I would like to start off with the on-page and technical SEO part. And on-page and technical SEO, these are elements like your meta tags or your page titles. So for example, I'm just hovering over your latest blog entry. The little box that popped up here, that's your title tag. And the title is Government Agencies Feeling the Pain as Shutdown Continues. And so that's just one example. So I'm going to send over this full site audit report. I like it because it kind of gives you a graphical representation of what's going on with your website. And you can see here, it breaks down these different findings in three different categories. So you have errors, warnings, and notices. And I would say definitely the highest priority would be errors. These are things that are affecting your SEO ranking right now. And these would definitely be cleaned up first. Next would be the warnings. And don't be put off by this large number. You'll see once you dig into the report, the warnings, sometimes they can be false positives. Sometimes it's just telling you, hey, this might be an issue, take a look at it. But that is something that we're going to cover. And then notices, that would be something kind of lower priority, but just some good things to know about your website's health. And so this is the first part of our process, going in and fixing these errors and cleaning up the warnings and notices that need to be resolved. And so I wanted to just provide this report so that you can see exactly what's going on with your website. In addition to that, I also pulled out the issues, more so for the on-page SEO portion. But these are different issues. You can see I've separated them via, at the bottom here into different tabs. But I think the SEM Rush report provides a really good description on why these are actually issues. But I'll just quickly go over them. So 404 broken links, exactly as it sounds. These are links that were found on your website and they're broken. They're not going anywhere. They're going to a 404 page. So we need to make sure we clean those up. Next, you have images missing alt text. So alt text, the original purpose of alt text was for website or internet users who are visually impaired. they're not able to see the actual images on the screen, the alt text will actually show you or tell them what that image is about. So alt text is just a sign of how user friendly a website is, and that's one thing that Google likes, or really any search engine likes. User-friendly websites that are accessible by everyone. So you can see there are quite a few images here, and actually you'll notice that it's the same image over and over again, but that image is being used on multiple pages across the website. So that's why we need to clean these up. Oversized images. So these are images that are, well, to start off, your target size for any image on your website should be 100 kilobytes, so 100,000 bytes. And anything over that, it can definitely slow down your website. Website speed, that kind of goes back to usability. The faster your website loads and the content is rendered, the easier it is for, or the more usable it is for users. So when your website is slow, then that can frustrate users and annoy users, and you definitely don't want to do that with your website. So anything over 100,000 bytes, I would definitely take a look at. Of course, there are going to be exceptions. So, for example, it's common on your homepage to use a large banner. And that's perfectly fine. You don't want to compromise the quality of that image. But if there are other images like on blogs or lower on the page that are using a lot of resources, but they really aren't important, that we can definitely do what's called compression, and to make those image sizes smaller so that the website loads faster. And I'll go more into website speed here in a minute. Next, we have page titles. So duplicate page titles. So just one thing to remember with your page titles on your website, and this might be something good to pass on to your content team or whoever is adding content to the website. You need to make sure that each URL on your website has a different page title. So for example, you'll see here, it looks like there's a Relationship Matters 1 article and then a Relationships Matter 2 article. So I'm guessing this is a part 1 and a part 2. But you need to make sure that at the end of this, you include something like, Equipment Maintenance Management Part 1, Equipment Maintenance Management Part 2, just so that those pages have unique titles. The reason why this is important and why it's important to optimize for your page title is that this is one of the prominent places that search engine crawlers look at when determining what a web page is about. And you want to make sure that you never cause any confusion when those search engine crawlers from Google, Bing, Yahoo, when they're reviewing your website. So that's why this is very important. Next, you have page titles that are too long. So essentially, you want to aim for a page title length no longer than 65 characters. So if it's longer than that, what you're going to have, and I'll just Google an example so you can see for yourself. So this is one of your page titles. So you see here, it kind of just cuts off the title. So news release, Remy named one of the best places to, and then it kind of leaves the searcher wondering. So it's not likely that someone will be searching for this, especially if they're a prospect. But this just shows you an example that why you want to make sure your title tags are within that 65 character limit, because you want to make sure that if there's an important part of the phrase here, that's actually visible to users who may be looking for your website. So going back to the spread here, page titles that are too short. So that's obviously the opposite issue. And when you have page titles that are too short, this presents opportunities to optimize better for keywords. So you can rewrite these page titles, but also include some of your target keywords that you want prospects to find you for if they're searching on Google. Moving on, and then finally we have pages missing meta descriptions. So these are pages that, and just to give you an idea of the meta description, so this little snippet here that starts, please subscribe to our blog for industry updates, that's your meta description. And these pages, it was found that they actually don't have any defined meta descriptions. And so the risk there is that if you don't specify what should be used as the meta description, then the search engines, they'll just pull many times random text from your page and use it as the meta description. Now, sometimes this, it works out. The relevant text is pulled, but more cases than not, it's going to pull some random text from your page, and it might not really be a good reflection of your brand. So you always want to control that, because this meta description here is almost like a mini advertisement for your search results listing. And if you're able to draw the prospect in, maybe include a snippet that's highly appealing, and then include a call to action at the end of that snippet, that can definitely improve what's called your click-through rate. And your click-through rate is a positive SEO signal. So in click-through rate, pretty simply, for all of those searches that are made for a particular phrase, what percentage of those searches result in clicks through to your website? And so that's why meta description, you might read, doesn't directly impact SEO, but it does have an indirect impact on your SEO standing. So that pretty much wraps up the on-page review. Now moving on to the more technical things. So I ran your website through Google PageSpeed Insights. And it actually came back with a score of 8 on mobile, which you can see here by their ranges is considered slow. And then on desktop, it's much better. It's at 79, but still some area for improvement. And so this is a free tool. You can use this on your site as well. Let's see for yourself. And then if we look at Pingdom, so I see that your load time is at 1.80 seconds, which is very respectable. It definitely, my target is usually between 2 and 3 seconds, and anything under 2 seconds, any further improvements usually has, there's a point where there's diminishing returns on any effort spent. But just looking at some of these things that are suggested, they're fairly easy to clean up. So, if we do decide to work together, that this will definitely be a few things here that we can clean up and make this website load even faster. So just keep that in mind, that website speed is important. Not only is it a SEO factor, Google and other search engines hate slow websites, but if someone is using your website and it's slow, or if there's a specific page that is slow, that's going to cause your bounce rate to increase, which is that user is going to leave that page without taking a conversion action. And obviously that's not a good SEO signal. So Google SEO is really all about usability and making sure that you're providing a great experience for your prospects and website users. Now moving on to the last part of the technical review. So there's something in the online world called JSON LD schema. And in a nutshell, JSON LD schema is a special snippet of code that you add to your website to provide more contextual information about your business. So for example, you would add, something about the organization name, your hours of operation, some other things. You might also want to include your target location, what business category Remy falls under. These are all different elements that you can specify in schema. Because you have to remember, you have the text on your page, and this is what the human user reads, right? So the human user reads this. Now, the actual search engine robots, the search engine crawlers that are reviewing your website, this is what they read, this code here, this HTML. So it's important, snippet, when you add these JSON-LD snippets, it just adds more context in a way that search engine crawlers can interpret it. And it's always a very good addition to your technical SEO. At a minimum, I would add there are different types of schema, but I would add the organization type schema, the website type schema. And if your CEO, or I saw that you have a leadership team, if they're more of the kind of the face of the organization, I think it's a good idea to add, at least a few people from your leadership team, because when someone types in their name, then that's one way that Remy can be linked to that person's name. So definitely would add this, and this is an area of opportunity for you. Now, that wraps up the first part of the video. For the second part, I want to go over content. And as I said before, I think this is a really big area of opportunity for you. I think you're already doing a great job producing content pieces that are what I call content bridges. So basically, you're balancing Remy's business goals with what your prospects would be concerned with. You'll see a lot of companies, they lean too far from one way or the other, but I see there's a really good balance with the content on your website so far. And so for your content, I created this separate diagram here. Let's zoom in just a bit. Okay, so this is kind of how I see visually your website. And so of course you have your home page, and then I think over time you should build out what are called content hubs. And so, just from my email, I understand that 3 of your target focuses are medical, federal, and higher ed. And then you also might want to have content hubs for specific OEMs. So I just put OEM number 1, OEM number 2. And just for the sake of time here, I'll talk a bit more about medical, because I know that's the biggest area for you now. So even under medical, the medical content hub, you can have many content hubs for medical imaging, eye care, dental, and surgery. And pretty much these hubs, you can think about it as kind of just categories on your website. And, I understand that you have a content writing team, which is great. And this is just one way to prioritize the content that they're producing and better organize it for SEO. So for example, under the medical hub, we have these mini hubs, but even under medical imaging, I would build what's called a silo. And that silo can consist of one major medical imaging page. So this would probably be your services page for medical imaging. And then under that main page, you maybe have 3 to 4 blog articles that specifically target medical imaging equipment maintenance programs, or medical imaging equipment maintenance. Different topics related to the main topic of medical imaging, and do the same for dental, surgery, eye care, and then federal, higher ed, and then even for OEMs number 1s and number 2s. So as you can probably imagine, that's going to be a lot of content, but that's why it's really important that we prioritize maybe the top content hubs, and even after prioritizing those, figuring out which should take first priority, and then go from there. And this is where I see my team and your content team working closely together, because really the more content, good high quality content that you put out, the more opportunities you give prospects to find you. More placeholders you have in Google. And the fact that you do have a content team, I think we can target both quality, producing good quality content, but also quantity. So, putting out content on a regular basis, which I think your team does very well. And so just, I was kind of just look at some of your articles. Recently, I saw that you just posted this today, and this is exactly the type of article we want. You know, you link out to the New York Times article. So for these content hubs, we would want this content to sit on your website. So not directing users to another website, but still you provide something that's relevant to REMI, targeting the federal vertical, but it's also, obviously this is a major area of concern for federal workers and other federal entities. So very, very good job there. And then even I saw this other one on the 6 key considerations for purchasing equipment, which I think is great. You're pretty much setting the expectation of what people should be doing. So giving them helpful information and just really building the trust there. So I think that's a great job with this. So it looks like your content, at least the research piece, is very, very thorough. I do see opportunities where we can better optimize for SEO. I won't go into those in detail here, but essentially I see your content team writing the articles. Maybe we agree on target keywords and target topics, and then from there, once they write it, I go in and my team goes in and we actually optimize it for SEO. It's usually the best way, the way I see this process working. Now moving on, so that covered the content piece. Now moving on to link building. And so I saw from my research that REMI, you have acquired very good backlinks from university websites. University websites are pretty much one of the highest quality backlinks that you can get, because .edu websites, university websites, they have very high authority, very credible, and so Google rewards you with that, with good rankings and good authority. So link building, that's something that's ongoing, something that really should never end. It's always something you should be thinking about. And it's almost, we were to take an offline concept and apply it to the online world. Link building will almost be like a mix between PR for REMI plus networking. So when we're doing link building, we're reaching out to different influencers within each of your target industries, building that relationship, and then finding opportunities where they will link back to REMI's content. And so, of course, those links, they're a very important part of Google's ranking algorithm. They've always been an important part, but it's a great way to increase your traffic, increase your referral traffic. And so over time, you're building your brand equity as well. And so I'm actually going to provide an extract of these different backlink opportunities. Some of these might not be relevant because they are from competitors, but there are some where your competitors are receiving backlinks from these particular websites, but REMI is not. So these are good opportunities to go after. And so that pretty much covers the link building piece. Now, before I ended the video, I wanted to kind of talk about Alexandra's last email from earlier this week. And so I really wanted to focus in on this number 2. So understand some of the target keywords include equipment maintenance contracts, and equipment insurance. And then just kind of ask about recommendations. So my first thought when I saw that is that these words might be a bit too general. I ran a few keyword ranking, and I'll share this as well. I ran a few keyword ranking reports for those keywords. So I did phrases like equipment maintenance management program, equipment maintenance, and maintenance contracts. And you'll see here, equipment maintenance management program, EMP, you are ranking very well at number 4. But then for equipment maintenance, you're at number 29, which would be at the bottom of page 3 of the search results. And then maintenance contracts, you're not even in the top 100. And I know sometimes these rankings can be inaccurate, but ideally, of course, you want to be on page 1. And so with that said, I kind of thought a little bit more about this, and let's just Google equipment maintenance. I know was one of Alexandra's recommendations. So you see here, I'm in Houston. I'll ask something about this later, but I'm in Houston, so of course there are going to be different search results related to Houston here at the top in the map pack. But if you kind of scroll through these search results here, some of these websites aren't really related to what Remy would be targeting. And, even some of these, they're not really relevant to the type of equipment that you provide services and maintenance programs for and service contracts for. So, with that said, and I'll get back to my original point, I think we can be a lot more specific with these keywords. When you're talking about budget, it's going to take a lot more budget to rank for equipment maintenance compared to healthcare equipment maintenance, for example, or GE healthcare equipment maintenance. And so the more specific we can be with these keywords, in SEO, it's called long tail, targeting the long tail keywords, the less budget that we would need to rank well and to improve Remy's visibility for those keywords. Now, you might be wondering, I always get this question, well, of course, these more general keywords, they have more search volume. More people are searching for them. And that's true, but it's not all about search volume, because if someone's looking for equipment maintenance, but they're looking for equipment maintenance for forklifts, well, obviously those searches aren't relevant to Remy. And so it's more important to target keywords that do have some search volume, maybe not as much, but they're actually targeted to what you provide as a company. And so if you see here in this list, I've also added different healthcare related keywords just as an example. So healthcare maintenance contracts, medical equipment maintenance, healthcare equipment maintenance, medical equipment maintenance contracts, and so on. And so, if I were looking at how can we best utilize your budget, it would be going after those long tail keywords. And so you can just see kind of example, this is a Google search for healthcare equipment maintenance. You can see these websites that are a lot more relevant to the services that Remy provides. And so that's a good sign. And also, it did the same for medical imaging equipment maintenance, so even more specific. And you can see here, a lot more relevant results to, if your target prospect were searching online, this would actually be what they were searching for. And so one last, I guess one thing I wanted to kind of go over, just kind of illustrate my point. So I prepared a proof of concept for you that maybe you can report back to your team. But, from my research, I saw that GE was a major player in the medical equipment space. So I'm not exactly sure if this is a OEM that you work with or provide services for their equipment. But I saw that you had the video on your About page, and actually I took that video. So for GE medical equipment maintenance, I was actually able to rank that video on the first page. You'll click through here. I just took the video and I posted it on my channel, just kind of as a proof of concept, a demo that if we go after these long tail keywords, we can see results a lot faster. I posted this video maybe about 5 or 6 hours ago, and you can already see it's on page 1, and that's not doing anything else with it, not building backlinks to it, not doing anything else. And so I just think that illustrates that these are better opportunities for you to get more targeted website traffic. So I'll share this. I'll share this URL with you so you can see for yourself. But that was a good sign that there are some low-hanging fruit opportunities that won't require as much budget. And so finally, before I ended the video, I mentioned for you. So when I was looking, and this is for medical imaging equipment maintenance. And obviously there are some national focus websites here and companies here. But again, I'm in Houston. You can see here there are actually providers here in the Houston metro area. And my question to you, if I am a hospital, a hospital official, and it's my job to find equipment maintenance programs, if I'm in Houston, why would I choose REMI over a local provider? I think just to kind of add on to that, usually when a company is local, it's just more trust there. So I'm sure that's a question maybe you have thought about before. But if we're going to go after, some of these search terms, especially where this map is showing up, because this is the example for Houston, it's probably the same case for any metro area. We need to answer the question, why would someone choose REMI over a Novoltech or a Renovo Solutions Corporation? So just wanted to end my video with that question, and that's something we can discuss further later down the road. But I hope this video has been helpful. Again, I will send over those different reports so you can see for yourself what's going on, and I look forward to your decision later this week about moving forward with your SEO campaign. Thanks, and have a great day.